Good evening everyone and welcome to Project Cars 2. This is Competitive Racing Club. This is GT3 Series Tier 1 and we are here for Season 4, Round 5 at the Zolder International Circuit in Belgium for the Belgian Grand Prix. And of course, as you can tell, Alan Cavey is not here tonight. He has made plans with his family. Of course, I'm hoping he will be able to watch on, but you're stuck with me tonight. I'm James Head, of course, for those of you who are tuning in and don't know me. We are about to start qualifying up, which is perfect timing indeed. We're starting about 5 or 10 minutes early here tonight, so we are straight into this qualifying session. As you can see, there's the track layout. 2.5 mile in length here at Belgium, just over 4 kilometers in length for those you who work in kilometers. 10 turns await the drivers here out on track. Now, I have got a track map. It is all in Belgian. I'm not going to pronounce some of the stuff here at all. We should also have a day-to-night race for the first time this season as well. Currently, coming into round 5 of the championship, it is 007 Professional who leads on 62 points, and it is actually a Bulldog Racing Team 1-2 in the Ferraris, with Ash Richardson in second on 59 points. Zandamar in third after that brilliant win last time out in T1 and Le Mans. He is in third, and the Mercedes on 56 points, with Crusher Bro, the leading rookie this season, on 52 points. Let's have a look then and get some of the timings and everything. Oh, there we are. There's the speedo. There's the map as well. The track up one being the left-hand side, of course. We should see the first drivers coming out on track very shortly indeed. Risenholm is in fact just coming out on track. He's the next in the standings as well. He's on 33 points in that Mercedes. 11 drivers here tonight. John Dog is in 6th on 31, with Emmanuel Beast in 7th on 29. VSR Rotary not attending here tonight. He's on 25 points, with PFC Steve in 9th on 24 and McKinder for You in 10th on 10 points respectively. First car out on track then is Crusher Bro. Of course, he is running the Aston Martin and he is the leading rookie here in CRC this season. We should be expecting lap times of around the 132s, maybe the 133s at a push here tonight in Zolder. I've been seeing some of the guys chatting in Discord and I've had a look at some of the lap times in Tier 2, which doesn't have a stream. Of course, there's Alan Cavey and his disconnect there, which will happen. That's why there is no stream for Tier 2. So if you are wanting to tune in for Tier 2, you're stuck with me instead for Tier 1. But this is the top tier action here in CRC. Constructor standings, just before we get into the nitty and gritty of qualifying. Bulldog Racing Team out there on their lonesome. They can literally not lose the constructors at this point in the championship. They're on 121 points with the top 2 in the standings and the drivers. Wilson Racing in second on the Mercedes for 62, and the other Mercedes runners, HRT Esports, is in third on 60 points, with Aston Martin Racing in fourth on 58. Missing in Action is in 5th on 35, Williams Engineering in 6th on 18, Victor Racing Team is in 7th, and the Aston Martins on 6th, and Campbell Motorsport, that is Andy Campbell of course, taking that in 8th position, and they are on 3 points. Risenholm has already had his lap time invalidated. However, we are on board with Crusher Pro, the Norwegian, running down towards turn 1 here at Zolder. As I say, 10 turns await the track, and of course, if you are familiar with this track to Project Cars, if you are unfamiliar I should say with this track, we are here on Project Cars 2. W Series actually ran around here in their first inaugural season at Zolder, which produced Jamie Chadwick to actually lose that race to, I think it was Emma Kimmelainen then in W Series. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but coming then through towards the chicane for the first time, at the Klein chicane, before going up the hill towards Sacrament Schilling. Yes, this is why I don't pronounce corner names out on track. And then up at the top of the hill, down towards the Villeneuve chicane, which is the next chicane out on track, as you see. It is pretty much like a bootleg shape, almost on Google Maps, this track. Crusher Bro then coming through the next right-hander, through Turlamenbosch. Turlamenbosch now is the corner he's just came through, and now on the run toward Boulderberg-Bocht. Boulderberg-Bocht. Weird names here the Belgians give their corners, but the Crusher Pro now through turns 7 and 8, and now up towards 9 and 10, which is Jackie X-Bocht. Jackie X, of course, being a famous GT3 driver. Crusher Pro then into the final couple of corners. The Norwegian taking through the final couple of corners and setting the first lap here in qualifying with about 4 minutes gone nearly in qualifying, and Crusher comes across the line to set a 1. Well, he doesn't set a lap time, he invalidated his lap, that's why. So, Emmanuel Beast comes across the line into 32.2, that's a very good lap set off by the racing point. I'm back in F1 mode, honestly. In the Mercedes, of course, in the GT3s here. Emmanuel Beast currently the only one to set any sort of lap. Nissim actually just coming in there in the other Mercedes, and he goes second with a 1:33.7. Let's run on board then with somebody that is coming towards near the end of their lap, right on board then with McKinder for you, who's just about to come across the line in the Lamborghini, and he comes across the line and he goes third with a 1:35 flat. You will obviously see a lot of improvement. Very tricky first sector here. The first corner is 90 degrees facing, so you've got to really hit the apex, make sure that back end doesn't kick out. I have seen a few crashes there before in my time. John Doggers just came across the line there to finish in fourth, of course, changing to the Cadillacs last round out in Le Mans, and hopefully they'll be hoping for a better result. Zandamar, last week's race winner, goes fourth with 1:35.3. Of course, if you do want to get in touch and support any of our drivers here out on track, including Mr. Andy Campbell, he's now coming across the line on his lap in the Porsche. He comes across the line to go fifth with a 1:37 flat. A bit of a mixed bag so far in qualifying. Emmanuel Beast in front, and this in second, McKinder View third, Zandamar fourth, Andy in fifth. Steve has just gone into third there. McKinder View now fourth, Zandamar fifth, Andy sixth, and John Dog in seventh. Crusher across the line, just catching the end of his lap then again, and validated, must have been through the chicane. That's Richardson now coming through the final couple of corners. He's across the line. He sets a lap, and it's a 1:44.1, a banker lap there. 007 professional, Kevin Championship leader across the line. He also sets a bit of a banker lap there, as we are through the first 5 minutes here in qualifying. 007 goes ninth with 1:48.6 respectively. Racing home as well is just coming towards the end of the middle sector. Crusher Pro has invalidated again by the looks. He's back into the pits. That car is now coming out the pits once again. We're on board then with Racing Home. Coming into the first chicane here out on track. Through the tricky turn 4 and 5, and then running towards turns. There are 10 corners on the track. I don't know how you can get 10 corners on this track. There's definitely more than that, I think. But Racing Home then through the chicane once again. Got the Ferrari in behind of Ash Richardson, who is also on a lap as well, so we'll catch on board with him right at the end of this lap. Frost racing home in the meantime, yet to set a lap yet, and the Brit, of course, not getting rid of his curse from Le Mans. It was a bit of a weird race, that one in Le Mans, but Racing Home will be hoping to create a better result for him here tonight. McKinder View, by the way, has gone second with a 1:32.8, so a nice lap there by the Lamborghini. Racing Home now into the final corner, into the final two corners actually, through another chicane. 3 chicanes out on track if you are counting, and he's across the line now, down through, and he's invalidated his lap actually. Plenty of invalidations actually. Andy Nissim have picked up invalidations. Ash has gone third in the meantime with a 1:33.3, so he goes third. Nissim currently in fourth. 007 Professional goes up to 7th with a 1:34.8. So seemingly looking like that the Mercedes of Emmanuel Beast is currently out on top, and he's 6/10 clear of McKinder for you as we push the halfway stage here in qualifying. Ash in third, Nissim in fourth, with Zandamar in fifth, Steve in sixth, 007 Professional in seventh, John Dog in eighth, Andy in ninth. Crusher now coming across the line, hopefully to set a full lap. I think he's just starting on one, so that's what I'll tell you what to do. I will go then on board with Crusher who is now coming through turn 2. This right-hander, very tricky for the cars to get through the corner. You've got to have to fight that back end all the way through. Now through the next right-hander. You can take this flat out sometimes in some of the cars around here, but obviously in the GT3 I have to back off. Now Crusher towards the end of the first sector. Let's see where his first sector was then. And he's set, I'm not sure what he set through the first sector. I do apologise about that, but Crusher now through there. Of course, just maybe picking up an invalidation there. He's up the top of the hill now, over the brow, and now coming down towards the Villeneuve chicane before Tullerman Bocht is the next corner. And Crusher again, just getting tight into the apex there. In the Cobalt Multisport livery car. And in car number 60, I think. if that's right on his delivery, I think it is. Bristol, by the way, has gone second. 007 Professional has gone third as well. Crusher Bro then coming around the final couple of corners now through turn 8, and now to go up towards the slight brow of the hill through turns 9 and 10. And there is a spinner in the background. One of the Chevrolets has gone off, and that is John Dog. John Dog has retired from, well, not retired to the session, he's gone back into the pit lane with a 135 flat. Currently he's in 9th position. Crusher Bro then coming across the line to set a lap. Finally he gets one on the board and he goes 4th with a 132.7. A nice on board lap there with Crusher Bro. But Emmanuel Beast currently out on top with the 132.2. Racing home in second with a 132.3. So the Mercedes really coming to the fore, and it looks like between the Mercedes, the Ferraris and the Aston Martin at this stage. And there's that McKinder for you as well. Oh, just spinning through turn 1 there. McKinder for you. Got cars coming out the pits behind him. I try and board them with Zandamar, who's coming down towards the Villeneuve chicane. Running through there very nicely indeed. Getting into the next right-hander now. Always fighting the car around this track. Zandamar now will be hoping to repeat some of what the Mercedes guys have already done. Emmanuel Beast, of course, to the top spot, racing home in second currently with about 5 minutes to go in qualifying. But Zandamar now coming through on a 134.7. He's 2.5 seconds off the pace at this moment in time. We'll be hoping that he can repeat that form from Le Mans last week of taking his first ever win in CRC. His 007 Professional sets a new fastest lap of the race with a 132.1. Very nice lap there from him. Zandamar now across the line. Is he going to set a lap? Does he improve? He does by 9/10 of a second. Doesn't improve in position though, but it's a 133.8, and now that means the top 8 are separated by 1.7 seconds out on track. Nearly 1.8 seconds if you are being a bit picky. Risterholm, they're just coming out the pits. McKinder for you then is out on track. Ash has parked off on the track. He's got the car going. Not sure what that was about. I think he was just maybe pulling off to the side and letting some of the cars through to get a better track. Andy then is on a lap, and the Scotsman has really struggled so far by the looks. Looking at the damage on his car, he's contacted the wall somewhere, I would imagine out on track. But Andy in the Porsche, 137 flat is his current personal best. That car definitely looking like it's got maybe suspension damage. We'll see how he copes with the chicane and see if he gets through here okay, and we'll see if he does improve on his personal best, of course. But with under 4 minutes to go, 007 Professional leads. Emmanuel B second, on third, with Crusher Bro in 4th, and we'll run on board with Crusher Bro actually, who's coming around the final couple of corners now once again in the Aston, looking to try and improve on a 132.7. Let's see what he can do now coming across the line. Crusher Bro, he doesn't improve. I don't think he was even on a lap, so coming across the line there to be in 4th. McKinder for you is in 5th, and there is Ash Richardson now coming around the final corner to come across the line. Does he improve? He doesn't. I think he's just started off on a lap as well. Nissim in 7th, Zandamar currently in 8th. He's about to come across the line now, and Zandamar improves. So 2 consecutive improvements in a row there for Zandamar, 133.3 from a 133.8. So finding nearly 5/10 of a second there on his previous lap time. Steve is into the pits in 9th. John Dog in the other Cadillac is in 10th, and Andy, of course, is in 11th. He's just came across the line, didn't improve on that lap. 007 Professional then ran the final corner. Current championship leader, currently on a provisional pole with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, and he doesn't set a faster lap. Emmanuel Beast then coming through the bootleg shaped corner. He's now coming towards the first chicane out on track. Of course, there are 4 chicanes out, well, 3 chicanes out on track here. One being the final corner, of course, the final 2 corners, one being the Villeneuve chicane, which is now coming up towards, and then also one chicane that was just before that one, which, if I look at my track map, and I'll try and pronounce it, it is the Klein chicane, the Klein chicane, I think named after, I don't know who's named after, but the Klein chicane, that was the other chicane out on track. Manuel Beast 5/10 down on his lap at this stage. Crusher Bro, I think, has improved to 32.352. He's now within 2.5 tenths behind 007 Professional. Manuel Beast is into the pits. That might be his qualifying session done. I can't really see him coming out the pits now. We'll ride on board then with somebody who's coming towards the end of his lap, and I'm just trying to pick up on somebody that is towards the end of their lap. looking through, racing home across the line, not improving. 777 Professional then is on a lap, and he's coming through final couple of corners, and he actually weaves, so he must be going on to his final lap now. Let's have a look then to see how everyone is doing. 777 Professional still out in front of mine, will be second, with racing home in third, Crutcherbro in fourth. Minute and 15 seconds left to go. This is really make or break for these drivers now out on the track. With just over a minute to go in qualifying, we will slowly tick down to under a minute, and 007 Professional is on a lap at this stage. We'll try and focus. Racing home just cuts across the chicane slightly, takes over the curb. Looking for you in the final couple of goals. He's actually improved up to 5th. Ash also improved his lap up to 6th. So McKinley for you actually gone 5th, and there's only 0.4 of a second separating the top 6 at this stage. Nissim is just through turn 1. Zandamar is on a lap. Steve just preparing for one by the looks. John Dog improves in the meantime by 0.4 of a second, and Crusherbro sets the first 1:31 of the night. So Crusherbro across the line to take it, currently out on track, but you never know, there could be quite a few spoilers still alert. Ash Richardson now coming around the final corner, he's across the line now, doesn't improve on his lap, and I think he has got another bite of the cherry. Whether he improves is a different thing. Racing home then through the final corner, coming across the line now. He'll be the last one to come across the line if he wants another lap. He improved by 0.3, goes second with a 31.9. He just gets into the 31s. That's his session done. 007 Professional then is coming up towards the final couple of corners. He really, apart from Emmanuel Beast as well, he was just in front of him out on track. There's just left through one of the other Mercedes. Emmanuel Beast coming across the line, not improving. 007 Professional is going to improve, I think, across the line. He doesn't. 007 Professional doesn't improve on that lap. That is his lap done. Andy goes up to 9th. Good lap from him. Finds a good chunk of time there, Andy, from 11th up to 9th. He goes with a 33.6. The Porsche finally coming good for him. John Dog and Steve are still on laps as well. Right on board with John Dog. He's coming through towards the final chicane now. It turns 9 and 10. John Dog then with another car behind. That is Crusherbro on a lap as well. We'll see if he can improve. He's got the toe of the car ahead. 45 minutes of racing still yet to come, of course. Crusherbro very wide in the final corner. John Dog then across the line. Can he improve? Yes, he can. He improves his lap time. Doesn't improve his position though with 33.7. And it's only Steve then who's going to come across the line. I think we've got Zandamar maybe on a lap as well. It's Ash, sorry, that's on a lap. Steve across the line also improves. Ash then across the line. Can he nick it late on? The Ferrari across the line doesn't improve, I don't think. Let's have a look at the standings, see if Ash did improve. He didn't. Crusherbro then takes it by nearly 1/10.5 of a second from racing at home in second. So the Norwegian beats the Brit in qualifying with 007 Professional third, Emmanuel Beast fourth, McKinley for you fifth, Ash Richardson in 6th with Nissim in 7th, Zandamar in 8th. Dead level lap times there from Nissim and Zandamar. Good job by the Mercedes boys. Andy in 9th, John Dog in 10th, Steve in 11th. 11 drivers, of course, about to do battle here. 45 minutes of racing await us here at Zolder. And of course, if you are just tuning in, welcome to TTTV and welcome to CRC Tier 1 for the GT3 series. It is round 5 of the championship, and we are here tonight in the brilliant track of Zolder. And Alan Cavi coming in and saying good luck on the stream. Thank you very much, Alan. It's a shame that you, of course, can't be with me here tonight. We should be back reunited next week, of course. Do put down your predictions in the comments section. If you want to show support to our drivers here out on track, do that, of course. We are about to get going with 45 minutes worth of action. We should get going within the next minute or so, as I'm going to take a drink of my mandarin and lemon drench that I've got. It's a lovely fresh drink that I've got for tonight. It cools down my voice a lot. No alcohol for me. I don't want to promote alcohol on the streams, put it that way, but we should get going then. It's normally about 2 minutes before we get the drivers actually fully sinking in. Of course, they'll be maybe adapting some of their setups. You can see the race feed on the bottom. Just take complete ignoration of that, because you're not going to see that change at all on the right hand side. But Crusherbro out on top, racing home in second, 007 Professional in third. It's all about the start off the line, and it's all about who can get the run down into turn 1 the quickest to try and pull out that gap early on. That is what can make or break this race. Hopefully we won't see any contact down into turn 1 as well. We don't want the tier 1 stewards to be busy like I was with tier 2 last week. Hopefully I'm not going to be busy on the same level as tier 2 was last week in Le Mans. Of course, some very serious accidents in there. But the light sequence about to come on. We're about to go green here in Zolder for round 5 of CRC tier 1. Lights down, away we go. Bit of a jump start there from Andy, but Crusher Bro gets a very good start from the line. Racing home will chase him down towards turn 1. Emmanuel Beast trying to look down the inside of 007. They're going to be side by side through turn 1, and Emmanuel's actually got him through turn 1. Everyone to a clean start, which is good to see. And Crusher Bro then leads through turn 2, and the Aston is 4.5 tenths away, now 5 tenths away from Racing home in second. Emmanuel Beast is in third. 007 and McKinley for you 4th and 5th, with Ash in 6th, Nis in 7th, Stephen 8th, Zandamar in 9th, Andy dropping down early, and John Dog right at the back of the field. But Crusher Bro has got the break early, as we are not on board with him. There we go, we are on board with him now, and he's 6/10 of a second leading down into the chicane for the first time. Emmanuel Beast trying to get the run towards Racing home. Through the first chicane they go. Some professional getting a very good run out there. McKinley view a little bit sideways. Everyone clean through though. Andy dropping down with Zandamar. Zandamar actually dropping down through the field. I think there might have been contact maybe between the Porsche and the Mercedes there. Didn't see that in the background of shot. We'll have to rely on the POV footage for that. But Crusher Bro, the Aston, really coming to play here early on here at Zolder, and he leads the way down towards the next right-hander. Through turns 7 and 8 they come. Racing has already picked up a time penalty, and that is a 2-second time penalty for Racing Home. There might have been contact with another driver. There might have been an invalidation, a track invalidation out on track. But Crusher Bro then leads. Coming around the final corner, Racing Home is in second, Emmanuel Beast third, 007 Professional is 4th, and we start lap 2 here. We're nearly through the first 2 minutes. It's Crusher Bro who leads the way. Racing Home in second, Emmanuel Beast third. 1.3 seconds the gap. 007 Professional 4th, McKinley Few in 5th, Ash in 6th, Nissim in 7th, John Dog in 8th. That was Andy going into the pits. Andy replacing damage that he picked up earlier on. He is into the pits then. He might be actually 7 his drive-through, sorry. He will be 7 his drive-through. Zandamar down in 10th position. Let's have a look then and see the closest battle out on tracks between Ash and McKinley for you currently. Well, it's pretty much split in half currently, but we should see a lot of perspective overtaking as 007 Professional has got the run on Emmanuel Beast and has got the move done even before turn 4 there. That's the wrong thing I want to do. I want to go on board then with Ash Richardson. Oh, gives McKinley for you a bit of a love tap there. We're not on Love Island, Ash Richardson. On the back though of McKinley for you. 3 minutes into the session early on. 45 minutes worth of racing, of course, here in CRC Tier 1. CRC Tier 2, by the way, if you are wanting to try and see that, we will have to rely on POV footage from the drivers because Alan Cabby had a bit of a disconnect issue for Tier 2. That's why he didn't see any stream here tonight. But Ash, right on the back of McKinley for you. Lamborghini against Ferrari here, and Ash, of course, second currently in the championship. Will be looking to justify his favouritism, I think, coming into tonight, or being one of the favourites coming into tonight, as Ash tries to get onto the back of McKinley for you. Not going to be close enough down in towards the final corner, but Crusher Bro leads 1.5 seconds the gap. Racing Home in second has got off to a very good start. Hopefully he can keep it up for 45 minutes or so left. 007 Professional in third, Emmanuel Beast in 4th, McKinley for you 5th, Ash in 6th, John in 7th with Steve in 8th, Zandamar in 9th, Nissim in 10th, and Andy, by the way, did serve that drive-through penalty. He came in and out of the pit straight as, and he's down in 11th position. So then, let's focus on the Mercedes against the Ferrari. 007 Professional against Emmanuel Beast. Of course, coming into tonight, 007 Professional was our championship leader. He's on 62 points, and Emmanuel Beast coming into tonight is on 29 points. So, one good result for Emmanuel. Could turn it either way, really, here. 007 actually pulled away from him by about a second. Let's focus in on the battle behind. So McKinley for you and Ash gets going. I'm just going to have to dip down because I've just lost my bottle lid off my drink. There we go. And no moves done as a result of that. Ash still on the back. 4-10 separating. Crusher Bro getting away out in front. Racing Home, I think, has made another mistake out on track. He's just lost about a second there to Crusher Bro. The Aston Martin currently leading away from the Mercedes, and we are nearly 5 minutes through the action here tonight. As I have unplugged something. which is absolutely fantastic. I think that's a signal to my TV that has been plugged out there. There we go. Apologies, I'm messing up things here tonight, to be honest, but there we go. Let's hope that doesn't come unplugged again. Crusherville then leads the way from Racing Home in second, 007 Professional in third, Emmanuel fourth, McKinley for You is still in fifth with Ash in sixth, and the top six separated by about 7 seconds at this stage. Of course, we're now 5 minutes through. Don't worry about the fuel here. I know the tyres could take a bit of a hit. The tyres apparently could take a bit of a hit. I know I was watching Matt's POV for Tier 2 and he was on about, I think Casper might have been on about pitting in. Of course, tyre wear might be a premium as one wheel dipped into the gravel there from Emmanuel Beast. We're on board then with Ash Richardson, who's trying to close in that gap for 6th position. Currently, or 5th position in fact, and Emmanuel Beast beginning just to leave that touch to 007 Professional. It definitely seems like the smaller cars are getting around the track very nicely indeed, and they're very good in terms of the power. Just coming across the chicane there, that was Emmanuel Beast taking a full cut across the chicane. He's got to be careful, he's got to slow down of course if he doesn't want to pick up a penalty from the on-board race director. Of course will give out penalties if he should suffice, but Ash Richardson only in 6th. We'll see if Emmanuel does pick up any penalty after a result of that cut through the chicane. At the minute he hasn't, but it might come up, you never know, it might come up about a minute later. There we go, it's literally came up as we were on board with that, and it's a 1 second penalty picked up from Emmanuel Beast. But side by side right down the straight pretty much between Racing Home and 007. And again the Mercedes just more powerful down the straight, clearly quicker, and 007 Professional beginning to give Racing Home something to think about in behind. The second and third, Crusherville getting away though out in front. He's run round here Zolder before. We'll go on board then with the Ferrari right on the back of the Mercedes. You'll see down the straight the first sector is where 007 Professional will lose the time. The cars up the straight, and there again you see Racing Home beginning to extend that margin out at about 0.4 of a second as they come down into the Klein chicane once again. 007 Professional hits it nicely just in behind Racing at Home, and these two now about to do battle up the Bravilla Hill and towards the Villeneuve chicane, which is the next corner. 33.6 compared with 34.8, sorry, last time out from Racing at Home. 33.6 last time around for 007 Professional. About 8 minutes through here in CRC Tier 1. If you're enjoying the action, of course, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Tick that notification bell so you don't miss any of our leagues here on TTTV. As 007 Professional is right on the back of Racing at Home, and Emmanuel Beast has left Ash for dead. Ash literally been left for dead by Emmanuel Beast. I'm not sure if the Ferrari man has actually made a mistake, I wonder, out on track, as McKinley for You tries to get a little bit closer to him. But in the meantime, we're on board with the battle for second. We'll take this actually from the point of view of fourth, and we'll ride on board with my favourite cam on the thing. We'll ride on board and see what the drivers are actually looking like down the straight. 007 Professional down the straight in third. Getting very close to the wall there, Racing at Home through turn 1. A very tricky turn 1. You can see them just powering out through the camber of the corner. We go back on board then with 007 Professional. That Ferrari still chasing down the Mercedes here out on track. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in so far out on track. If you are brand new to Project Cars, then welcome for the first time to CRC Tier 1. I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the action here tonight. No Alan Cabby, he is away on family matters, but he will be back next week, of course, for round 6. 007 Professional though, right on the back of Racing at Home, and Emmanuel Beast beginning to get involved in this as well. There's not really much battling going on further down the field, so we'll just focus on this for now. Of course, I will provide you with any battles should they suffice further down the field. We should expect, I think, around 20 odd laps out of this race if you are wanting to see. I'm not sure if there's any Tier 2 drivers that are tuning into this. Do confirm how many laps that you guys done in Tier 2. That would be much appreciated. As 007 is right on the back, trying to look around the outside here into turn 7 and 8. 007 Racing at Home just makes that Mercedes look as wide as possible. It's the widest car pretty much out on track, but 007 Professional is going to have to give Racing at Home something to think about here. Down into the final chicane once again. And 007 right on the back of Racing at Home. This is going to be an intriguing battle running down the straight, and again 007 gets a little bit closer, but that Mercedes power down the straight just helps Racing Home begin to edge out that gap by about 2.5 tenths as they come down into turn 1 once again. Racing Home still in second, 007 in third, and the other Mercedes of Emmanuel Beast. 007 Professional stuck in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich at this stage. All of this is doing, what is beginning to happen now and behind is letting Crusher Brook get away. And he's a 33.4 on that last lap, 37.1 from Racing Home and a 34.9 from 007 Professional. Let's ride on board then with Bumper Cam and see how close 007 Professional can get down into the chicane. Rides through the curbs very nicely, just unsettles the car slightly. Nissan has picked up a penalty there. We'll confirm that now, and it's a 2-second time penalty. Racing Home has got 4 seconds now, so Racing Home has picked up a 4-second time penalty, 2-second time penalty. Racing Home again goes across the curve through the real nerve chicane, and that is going to be another addition, I think, onto his penalties out on track. Of course, drivers have got to be careful of the penalties that they do pick up. But we're more than 10 minutes the way through, and Crusher Brook leads the way by about 8.7 seconds from Racing Home in second. The Aston Martin has really taken the race by the scruff of the neck. The lights getting flashed now by the Ferrari. It is beginning to get a bit dimmer out on track, which will mean that we will transfer from day to night, and it's the first race this season that we will see that. John is up to 6th. PFC Steve is into 7th, by the way, as well. McKinnon Few is the one that has dropped through the field. McKinnon Few, not sure what happened to him. I've just seen it, though, on the timing screens on the left-hand side. He's now down in 9th position. Not sure if he might have made a mistake out on track or not. He's behind Zandamar, currently out on track. But it is still Racing Home on the back. And we'll actually cut back to that battle between Steve and Zandamar. The Mercedes beginning to try and get on the back of the Cadillac here. Of course, the Cadillac team changing to this car. They were previously, of course, within the but anyways, John, Steve obviously changing over the cars as a result last time out. We've got a very interesting battle kicking out for second. Racing Home defending the position nicely. 007 Professional in third. John and Steve, by the way, yeah, they did swap teams in Le Mans, just to confirm that. After what I was trying to get out, I didn't really say that. But 007 right on the back of Racing Home in the meantime as they come down towards the next chicane, down through to 7 and 8. Launcher down the inside. Emmanuel Beast getting closer as well. About a second separating the second, third and fourth battle that is beginning to hot up out on track. Of course, as soon as any battles get going further down the field, we'll try and cut to that as soon as possible. But Crusher Brook has started lap 9. And he leads the way by nearly 10 seconds out on track. That Aston's really dominating out on track. Crusher Brook, though, does have a tendency late on in the race to maybe have a bit of a bottle out on track, and hopefully we'll not see that here tonight as Racing Home messes up turn 1. 007 trying to look around the outside line here. He will have the traction through there. He switches now to the inside. Not going to get the run through. He's got to get the run through the corners as opposed to the straights. Of course, this is the best opportunity through Sector 1 they can possibly do it. It's now 10 seconds of a gap, and these two beginning to battle, beginning to let Emmanuel Beast into things. And let's cut on board then with the bumper cam of Emmanuel Beast. Mercedes right on the back then of the Ferrari, down heavy into the braking zone. Racing Home again. Oh, and 007 Professional spins in front. Bullard nearly hits Emmanuel Beast's car. We'll cut back on that as Ash has gone through on 007. 007 gets the car going again, so the championship leader round from second position. He purely just got a twitch of oversteer. He got caught on the curb. It unsettled the car. It's as simple as that. There was no contact, and that was the best view to provide, because there was no contact at all between those guys out on track. Steve has dropped down the field as well. He's lost a couple of positions. He's now behind McKinnon Few and Zandamar. So Steve now from 7th down to 9th, but the Cadillac right on the back of the Lamborghini here. And McKinnon Few will be looking to score a good amount of points once again. Lap 10 goes Crusher Brook, and he just came across the line there to lead by 11.7 seconds from Racing Home in second. Emmanuel Beast now third, so Mercedes second and third. Ash in fourth, with 007 Professional in fifth, of course both of them teammates, with John Dog in sixth. His teammate down in ninth, who on board with, is Steve, but he's right on the back of McKinnon Few. It's about 4/10 of a second. Just ignore the timing screens that are coming up. They have been like this for quite a while on Project Cars, and there's been no patch for about a year. But Steve right on the back, and the Cadillac right on the back now of the Lamborghini, and McKinley Few surely is going to be under pressure. You can see actually that on the timing screen, Steve is ahead of McKinley Few, and he drops the car. McKinley Few drops it through turn 1. He got caught on the curb, he's got the car going again. Luckily he's got the car going again, he only loses the 1 position. Back on board there in the battle for second and third, both of them taking it through nicely. We are through the first 15 minutes here in CRC Tier 1. Crusher who leads the way to 12.4 seconds from Reston Home in second. Emmanuel Beast third. Ash in fourth. 007 Professional in fifth. John in sixth. Zandamar in seventh. Stephen eighth. McKinley United Andy 10th. And Nissim in 11th. And Nissim has actually just dropped off that by about 2 seconds out on track. Both Mercedes now about to do battle. Emmanuel Beast and Racing at Home, of course. And remember that Emmanuel Beast and Racing at Home are actually teammates. They are racing for the same team here, Wilson Racing. Good for the constructors currently, because they're going to be outscoring the Bulldog Racing team out in front of the Ferraris. Currently, if I make it out as, of course, we do run the official point, the F1 point standings here in CRC. Currently, as it will stand in the constructors out on track, Emmanuel and Racing at Home would gain 33 points compared to Ash and 007, who would only be scoring 22. Add that up in the constructors on the standings, and Wilson Racing will be gaining 11 points on Bulldog as it stands out on track. Of course, might change before that. Steve, by the way, has got past McKinley Few after that spin. Andy and Nissim has picked up a penalty now. Nissim 4 seconds worth of penalties. Andy's got 2 seconds. Emmanuel Beast and Rest of Home picked up 4 and 1 respectfully out on track. Trying on board then with the Mercedes of Zandamar, who is on the back of John Doug. This is the 6th and 7th. A battle further down has actually just been caught out. Zandamar being caught out there by the curb, it seemed, on the right hand side. Just lost the traction of the car through there. And John has now got about a 2.5 second gap over Zandamar out on track. Back to the battle for second and third we go then, with Racing Home and Emmanuel Beast. 0.8 of a second away from each other as we are slowly approaching the halfway stage here in CRC Tier 1. Of course, if you are brand new to Project Cars 2 and you don't know what this is about, then welcome to my world for the next 27 minutes or so, probably the next half an hour, given that we will be reviewing what happened after this race. But Crushable leads in front, 13 seconds the gap. Racing Home now in second, with Emmanuel Beast in third, Ash in fourth, 007 Professional in fifth, John in sixth, Zandamar 7th, Steve 8th, McKinley Few 9th, Andy 10th, and Nissim in 11th. And what I would do in Emmanuel Beast's perspective at this stage, let's run on board then and see how he is coping with some of the corners out on track. The sun beginning to dip down. It could come as a bit of an influence out on track, especially through the double right-hander here through turns 2 and 3. Now Emmanuel Beast trying to get onto the back of his teammates. About a second the gap now. Emmanuel Beast, they go under the Yokohama sign. He's 200 up through the first sector there. Racing Home nails the apex. Emmanuel Beast doesn't know. Racing Home doesn't nail the apex. He gets caught, similar to what we saw with 007. And Ash now beginning to try and take closer order. We're right on board then with roof cam on board him. And I'll try and give some of the angles further down the field as well. Zandamar and Steve looking quite close, or they are in terms of the timings, but it's about 5/10 of a second, I think, out on track between these guys, Steve and Zandamar. We'll come back on board them with the battle for fourth and third. And it's between Ash and Racing at Home. Racing at Home, of course, making that mistake. Went into the gravel. Very similar to 007. Didn't spin the car, however. And Racing at Home now dropping down to third. Emmanuel Beast on for second. Could be on for another podium here. Of course, picking up one last time out in Le Mans. Ash is still on the back of him, though. And we're on board. We'll go on board then with bonnet cam and see. Beautiful grandstand there on the right hand side as they come to start lap 13. These guys pushed already onto lap 13 and he's just pulling away effortlessly out in front. 15 seconds. He doesn't really need to take anything for granted out in front. Just nail the apexes, stay within the white lines, and he should be on to a career success here in CRC Tier 1. He could even take the championship lead as well. Ash then right on the back of Racing at Home. says 2/10 of a second separating. I think that's more than 2/10 currently. The Ferrari against the Mercedes. Racing at home then through turn 3. Ashley out on track and gives the lights a big flash there. Getting to get into night time, of course. It is a day to night race here in Tier 1. We have started from this week onwards an hour later in terms of real time. Andy, by the way, has dropped down the field. I'm not sure what has happened to Andy. He's lost the position to McKinder for you. That is what has happened there with him further down the field. Ash, in the meantime, still on the back of Racing at Home. Emmanuel Beast has got away by about 1.9 seconds, but Ash still on the back of Racing at Home. As I say, hopefully everyone is enjoying the stream here out on track tonight. Ash looking to the inside, Racing at Home, goes a bit deep. Oh, they make a little bit of contact. Nothing you can really do about that. Again, they make a little bit of contact. Little bit of side-by-side action between these two. Racing at Home and Ash. Ash to the outside line and the Ferrari. Racing at Home on the inside line as I get a perfect turn off in 60 seconds up. But Ash has completed the move. Round the outside he goes and he's up into 3rd position. Good move that by the Ferrari man. But Racing at Home is not going to have any of it and he's going to try and go round the outside. Racing at Home then trying to go round the outside. Ash goes a little bit too deep this time. Racing at Home back up the inside. Can he get the move done? They're still side by side, these two. They're literally joined at the hip. Ash pretty much reaching the halfway stage now here in CRC Tier 1 and Ash defends the position. He's going to try and stick that Ferrari and make it look as wide as possible. Racing at Home though will not be having any of it. He's got the speed in that Mercedes. The Ferrari man under pressure, but it looks like he's got the gap out now. And Ash has got the move done eventually on Racing at Home. Good racing there between both of them. A little bit of banging wheels, but nothing more and nothing less. And Ash has got the move done. He's up to 3rd. And in fact, just unsettles the car there. Racing at Home by overrunning the curb onto the curb there. Running over the curb, unsettling the car. That's what I was trying to say there. Racing at Home still in the back. Bit of lights flashing. You might seem a bit hard to judge by. Of course, Ash could have given him the room. I think he gave him plenty of room to join. I think there was just purely the camber of the corner that the guys out on track made contact with. Of course, if they do feel like reporting it, then of course it will be put into the steward's office, the steward's room, and everyone can have a look at that afterwards. Of course, the stewards normally make their decision about 2 or 3 days after the races have actually finished, so that'll be Monday or Tuesday in the UK. Well, right on board there, Wolf Pusher Pro, who's dominated things out in front, and the Aston Martin really dominating things out in front, and has really taken this race by the scruff of the neck, and he's pretty much 3 corners clear the minute of Emmanuel Beast in 2nd. Ash is in 3rd after completing the move last lap around on Racing at Home. He's still continuing to flash the lights there. 007 Professional though in 5th, and the Bulldog Racing team now getting closer to the one sole Wilson Racing team in the top 5. Emmanuel Beast obviously in 2nd, but he's away by about 3 seconds. Racing at Home though on the back of Ash, trying to catch him back up down towards the chicane. We are halfway through now here in CRC Tier 1. Crushable leads, Emmanuel Beast 2nd, Ash in 3rd, Racing at Home in 4th, 007 Professional in 5th. Lovely over the curb there this time. John now in 6th, Zandamar in 7th, McKinnon for you in 8th, Steve in 9th, Andy in 10th, and Nissim in 11th position out on track. Oh, 007 Professional gets very close there. He gets both curbs hitting nicely. Will mess up his run through, and he's lost probably about a second through there, if I've got to be honest. The Ferrari man just struggling through that. Racing at Home then beginning to try and attack on the back of Ash. Again, having a bit of a half look, just warning him that he's there, but goes a bit too deep himself and loses time. So Ash holding on to that 3rd position. Emmanuel Beast has actually just been closed down slightly. He might have made a slight mistake somewhere out on track. There's nothing really, as I say, happening out on track further down the field. It's all between Ash, Racing at Home, and 007 at the minute for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Final podium points, the final podium finish could be going to one of these 3 drivers out on track, and it is going to be quite close on paper between these 3. 007 can really nail the corners and exploit Racing at Home down the straights, and that would be quite unlikely, but if he can do that, if he can exploit them certainly through the corners more than on the straights, he will be right on the back of him. Racing at Home though, in the meantime, is on the back of Ash, and it's about 9/10 of a second the gap. I am just literally going to send a text message to somebody. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Actually racing home, trying to go down the inside of Ash. Literally typical. Oh, I nearly come off the stream there, and Ash and racing home have a bit of a battle. Ash with the crew run out, still in third, racing home in fourth. Double Seven Professional still in fifth. Rest of home again goes a little bit too deep, and now 007 Professional can exploit him. Here we go, the Ferrari and the Mercedes once again. It's literally Bulldog against Wilson. Once again here out on track. Emmanuel beginning to get caught up a little bit. All of this is beginning to that crushable lead by about 20 seconds out on track. And the leading rookie here this season in CRC Tier 1, of course, a fabled mainstay of TT_Project Cars. And McKinnon for you, by the way, has dropped down the field. McKinnon for you, I'm not sure if he's made contact with anybody. He's been overtaken actually by the leader. And yeah, McKinnon for you, something has happened to McKinnon for you. That car is damaged completely. And he's going around, I think, with suspension damage. And I'm not sure if all four wheels are attached either. I'm not sure what has happened. We'll obviously have to ride on board there with the stewards. Oh, and McKinnon for you actually crashes. And that is, I think, him out of the race. Ash then and rest at home in the meantime. Third and fourth now, the guys. The Ferrari has actually got through on the racing point. On the Mercedes, goodness me. Ash and rest at home, of course. McKinnon for you doesn't want to rejoin track. But rest at home back down the inside toward the Villeneuve chicane. He'll make that Mercedes look as wide as possible. He's got the move done. Rest at home up to third. Ash down to fourth. 007 now in fifth. John Zandemar going at it further down the field as well. About 0.4 of a second separating the Cadillac and the Mercedes. Much better run out there by the Cadillac, and he actually floors it down off the power. But this is the battle we want to go on board with. Wilson Racing against Bulldog Racing Team. It's racing at home against Ash and 007. It's literally a 2-on-1 handicap match for the WWE Championship at this stage, I think. It's Ash right on the back of racing at home. 007 Professional in fifth position. But looking out on the track, I've got to say, racing at home has got the key now to Ash. And with about 18 minutes to go, we are more than halfway through here in CRC Tier 1. It is still Crushbro, of course, who still leads the way by nearly 20 seconds out on track. 007 just getting caught on the curb there. Emmanuel Beast is in second, racing at home in third. Ash in fourth. 007 Professional in fifth. Zandemar is in sixth. John in seventh, and they make a little bit of contact maybe through the final couple of corners there. John up to sixth. Zandemar seventh. Stephen eighth has picked up a penalty. Andy in ninth, who's right on the back of him. So let's run on board with this. The Mercedes, the Porsche right on the back of the Cadillac. Typical, I've been running on board with the Mercedes. McKinnon for you is just going into the right hand side of the pits, and he's right on the back. But Ash right on the back now, racing at home once again. We'll go back on board with that Andy and Steve battle in just a short while. But with 17 minutes to go, Crushable still leads. Emmanuel B second, racing at home in third. Ash in fourth, 007 Professional fifth. John in sixth, Zandemar seventh, Stephen eighth, Andy ninth. Nissim in 10th. McKinnon for you's race pretty much over with suspension damage. Not sure if he went hard into the wall. Racing at home has gone very deep indeed. Ash rejoins track. Very difficult through the camera of the corner. They make contact again. That's twice we've seen them make a little bit of contact in the race. Racing at home not happy with that one, and he's got to try and nudge around the outside here. This could get pretty dicey between the Ferrari, and he literally puts his handbag out to stop him coming through. The Ferrari back ahead of the racing home in the Mercedes, and racing home not happy, weaving down the straight slightly. 007 beginning to get in this as well, and maybe this is a bit of a tactical ploy from the Ferraris, sandwiching and boxing in the Mercedes. This could let 007 Professional through. Down the inside he goes actually. 007, is he ahead of racing at home? Racing at home goes wide of the apex. 007 on the inside trying to get the move done. Oh, they make contact, a little bit of leaning on each other, and 007's in the wall. 007 Professional is in the wall. Both of them just lean on each other. Racing at home has gone off as well. Both of them off, and racing at home goes for a spin and is into the wall as well. Into the wall hard, I think, the Mercedes. Both of them fourth and fifth now. And what that will do afterwards remains to be seen. There is racing at home, who did have a half spin. He's kept on going somehow. Not sure if that was a bit of a lag moment maybe from resting at home, but he's in 4th. 007 Professional in 5th, John in 6th, Zandamar 7th, Andy in 8th. Oh, Andy actually trying to go for the move here on Steve, I think. Yep, that's Steve trying to go around the outside of him. Andy on the inside line. This is what we saw with 007. No contact made between these two. It can be done. And Steve is around the outside on Andy. Good move that by the Cadillac driver. He's through and he's up to 8th position. Andy in 9th, Nissim in 10th, McKinnon for you with a race to forget in 11th position. And he's very much struggling out on track. Of course, keep going. Point scoring finish could still be his. Crusherbull then leads the way still by 18.5 seconds. It's all now gone a little bit downhill. John and Zandamar, closest battle, 6th and 7th currently out on track. In fact, sorry, it's Andy and Steve currently out on track. And even though the gap says it's 1.2 seconds, you can quite clearly see on your screens that's not 1.2 seconds. As we've got about 14.5 minutes to go. The Porsche right on the back of the Cadillac. I would be favouring the Porsche, to be honest, at this stage. Andy trying to get through the corner. Steve just about keeps the position. It's Andy in 9th. Having a good drive here, the Scotsman. Steve in 10th. Steve in 8th, sorry. There is Nissim just in the background, shot in 10th. The rest to forget for him. But Andy right on the back of Steve. 8th and 9th. It's going to get quite dicey down the straight. Andy getting on the back of Steve still. 14 minutes now to go. And Andy again trying to pressurise Steve here into making some sort of mistake. Andy going for the inside line. That Porsche is very good through the corners. I've got to be honest. Might be the car that might be worth driving going forward within the championship. Crusherbull obviously leading the way. Let's just give you an update then on the penalties, see what everyone's penalties are like. Weston has picked up 6 seconds, that's the most penalties that he's picked up. Andy then looking to the outside of Steve in the meantime. Again, not getting close enough to get the move done. Andy again, right on the back of Steve, up the brow of the hill. Downhill they come now. Andy's on the inside line. They're going to be side by side into the Villeneuve chicane. Andy late on the brakes. Steve, a little bit of contact. Forces Steve off into the wall, off into the gravel, sorry. And Andy is going to wait up for him, maybe give the position up as well. He certainly waits up for him. He's not going to give the position up. He does. Andy gives the position up to Steve. Good sportsmanship shown there. And a flash of the lights says thank you very much to Steve. And Andy lets him through for 9th position. That's what we like to promote here, of course, in CRC. Very good, clean racing out on track, and even if contact is made between two drivers, they know how to give up the position and possibly avoid any future penalties. Of course, penalties could still be given as a result. I don't think, though, for that one, it will be. John then, under pressure from Zandamar. 6th and 7th currently out on track. And the Australian under pressure from the American of Zandamar. Another morning winner, right on the back here of John Dog, and a 35.9 last time around will suit him well. John in 6th currently with a 36.3. Zandamar again trying to pull to the inside line, not going to be close enough for the move at all, and it's now about a second the gap to come now over the brow of the hill once again. I've just taken a little bit of break in commentary there. Sorry about that. Crusherbull still leads the way then by 19.1 seconds. If you are just tuning in, where have you been for the last 29 minutes or so? We've got only 11 minutes left here out on the track. It's Crusherbull who leads. He's just came across the line to start once again. And in fact, Crusherbull is on the other side of the track. I do apologise. There is Emmanuel Beast then in 2nd. Ash is in 3rd. Rissenholm in 4th. 007 in 5th. John in 6th. Zandamar trying to pressurise him again for 7th. Steve in 8th with Andy in 9th. They've just came through the chicane there. They same in the back in 10th. And McKinnon for you in 11th after that suspension damage coming into the pits has cost him about 2 minutes, I think, out on track. And a race to forget for McKinnon for you. As long as he gets round, though, that'll be much appreciated from him. Zandamar then still right on the back of John Dog for 6th and 7th out on track. 1.2 seconds separating the two guys out on track. Let's focus then further up the field. between 007 and Racing at Home. The gap is 3 seconds, and Mercedes, after coming into contact with Ash, of course, might feel hard done by. 007 has also picked up, coming into contact with 007, I should say, getting mixed up with my Ferraris. But both of them coming into contact. That might go to the stewards, of course. The stewards might be a little bit busy with that one. But of course, it all depends on whether a steward's report is filed. 10 minutes to go then out on track. We are 35 minutes way through. And Crusher leads by 20 seconds out on track. Just dipping over 20 seconds for the first time. Emmanuel Beast is in second, with Ash in third, Racing at Home in fourth, 007 Professional in 5th. John in 6th, Zandamar 7th, Stephen 8th, Andy 9th, Nissim 10th, and McKinley for you still going around at the back of the field in 11th place. Let's see what's happened then. Just to recap, I'll try and give you guys the results from Tier 2. Let's have a look. Looks like there was a couple of incidents maybe in Tier 2, of course. I'll try and get the results for you toward the end of the stream, but hopefully we will see action happening out on track still. In the meantime, with 9 minutes to go, it's Crusher who leads, Emmanuel B second, Ash in third, 007 Professional trying to get closer here to Racing at Home for fourth. But at the minute, everything going Racing at Home's way from 007 in 5th. John and Zandamar still quite close here for 6th and 7th. 54.2 and 55.7 seconds off the pace currently, but John now pressurised once again by the Mercedes of Zandamar and the American trying to get the move done here. Not going to be quite close enough for the move to be done. A little bit of lag picking up from Zandamar's end, I think. John then in 6th, Zandamar in 7th, with 8 minutes to go here out on track. Again, I will just take a little bit of a break and then we'll get back through towards the end of the race, but I'll be back in about a minute. Zandamar, oh god, voice break there, Zandamar right on the back of John Dog, goodness me, that was a voice break and a half, but Zandamar right on the back of John Dog, the 6th and 7th, and still with about 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go as they take under the start lap 24, these guys. John is under pressure from Zandamar, and these guys are being quite consistent to each other, they're being quite close, and Zandamar looking currently to try and get the move done. As for 6th and 7th, this really begins to hot up. Stephen 8th, Andy 9th, Nissim in 10th and behind as well. Not really much happening further up the field or further down the field, so we're put on board still with Zandamar, who is on the back of John, and it's about 3/10 of a second. You can see the Mercedes speed more superior down the straights than the Cadillac, but the Cadillac's good through the corners, through the chicane that time, and again, the Mercedes just trying to get a little bit closer through there. Not going to be close enough down the brow of the hill. Fire spitting out to that rear end of the Cadillac there. So now come down into the Villeneuve chicane once again. Through 5 and 6. Zandamar currently holding 7th position, just stepping out onto the grass slightly. John doing the same thing just ahead. And puts a trackside cam between these two. John and Zandamar 6th and 7th. Currently out on track. Apologies again. There we go. Just trying to mess up my voice, of course. I did do another commentary before this one, so my voice is starting to go. But with 6 minutes to go, and McKinley for you has picked up a penalty. We'll come from that. A second penalty there for McKinley for you. 5 seconds for Nissim. But it's all been about one person and one person only, and that is this person here, Crusher Pro, who starts lap 26 out in front. And we should have, I think, 3, maybe 4 laps to go for the Aston Martin out on track. There was a really hot battle just ahead of these guys between Andy and Steve. These two being pretty much locked together as one. Nissim has just been behind this as well. In fact, Crusher Bro has just gone through, I think, past. Yeah, Crusher Bro is actually the car that is directly behind Nissim. Nissim will have to get out of the way, of course. Andy, in the meantime, right on the back of Steve, running down into the chicane, the Klein chicane once again. Andy really nailing the apex once again. Crusher Bro is going to be let through, I think, here. Andy trying to take the direct line over, and Crusher Bro will be let through here by Nissim. So Crusher Bro, the leader, has overtaken Nissim, who's been lapped for the race. Oh, and Andy has a bit of a half spin out of the Villeneuve chicane. Very, very lucky indeed to come away with that one. Zandamar, in the meantime, trying to go up the inside of John Dog. It's beginning to kick off out on track with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and it's side by side between the Cadillac and the Mercedes. You know who I'd be fancying at this stage, and that is the Mercedes of Zandamar. And Zandamar ran the outside here. John on the inside line. Very difficult side by side through turn one, but Zandamar, I think, might just come out on top of this. He's on the inside line. He will force John onto the outside line. A good position on the car there by Zandamar. A slight touch of wheels. Nothing more, nothing less. And Zandamar is through, and he's up into 6th position. Finally waited his turn, but he got the job done in a clean fashion, which is what we like to see. John is now on the back foot with Steve and Andy still fighting out. Andy, sorry, has been overtaken by Crusher Bro, and Nissim has just had a bit of a moment there in the background of shot. Plenty of penalties to be added on, of course, after this race. Any stewarding penalties, of course, still to be added on. Zandamar, though, pulling away from John with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. Crusher Bro leads, 18 seconds the gap. Really, he's taken the race by the scruff of the neck. Got that perfect start. Pulled out the gap on lap 1, and he's never looked back since, quite literally, in the Aston Martin. And 3.5 minutes to go. Crusher Bro, in fact, is just coming through over the brow of the hill. So, I do believe we are going to get another 2 more laps out of this race after this one. So this is the 3rd last lap that the guys are on now. It'll be the 2nd last lap for anyone that hasn't been lapped yet. Steve, though, right under pressure from Andy, and Andy, the Scotsman, right on the back here of Steve. The Cadillac against the Porsche. Down into the next chicane, through 7 and 8 they come. Andy taking the deeper line, getting a much better exit, and again, just a little bit wayward off the exit, but Steve under pressure. Andy and Steve, they could go side by side down the straight if they are very careful indeed. But Andy not close enough to get the move done. Actually slows the car into the corner rather than braking hard and getting the power out of the corner there. But Andy right on the back. Crusher Bro then starts the penultimate lap of the race. We will have about a minute to go once Crusher Bro comes across the line. Andy then, in the meantime, still on the back of Nissim, and John and Zandamar are now about 2 seconds away from each other. Andy looking to the inside through turn 2. Not going to be quite close enough. Of course, we are here at Zolder, if you are wondering where this track is located. And I forgot to mention it earlier that this track is actually near another village. It's about 4 miles outside of Zolder town itself. Weird, I know, but it is called Zolder. Andy right on the back of Steve, not looking to move, and that Cadillac just looks as wide as possible. Andy then getting the run out. We'll cut back to trackside cam if we can. Andy then right on the outside line. He's now on the inside line toward the Villeneuve chicane. I don't think he's going to try and commit this. And in fact, Steve a little bit later on the brakes. John is still fighting with Zandamar further up the field. Ash and Racing Home 3rd and 4th. 007 5th. Emmanuel B 2nd, and Crusher Bro in 1st. And Crusher Bro is just ahead of these guys out on track, but a real hammer and set tongs between these two. Cadillac and the Porsche. Andy against Steve for 8th and 9th. This is a really terrific battle between these two. Andy getting the much better switchback. Steve trying to cut him off. He's now positioned his car to the inside line. Andy is going to have to do the hard way around the outside line. Through turns 9 and 10 they go for the final time. That is Crusher Bro just coming across the line to start the final lap of the race ahead. So Crusher Bro across the line to start the final lap. Steve pulls away from Andy, and Steve on the road to possibly in 8th position. Of course, these guys have been lapped out on track, but phenomenal racing here out on track. Crusher Bro leads 20 seconds, Emmanuel B 2nd, with Ash in 3rd, Racing Home in 4th, 007 5th, Zandamar in 6th, John in 7th, Steve and Andy still battling out for 8th and 9th. Of course, these guys are the lap down, but are going to continue fighting to the flag. We'll cut on board then as Ash Richardson has picked up a penalty, and it's 2 seconds worth. Westerholm has got 8 seconds worth, so 007 I think could be gaining 4th at this rate. In the meantime though, Steve and Andy still for 8th and 9th. We'll cut to this battle back in a little while. Well, we'll cut on board with our leader who makes his first mistake and cuts over the curb slightly. Ooh, bit of a tricky one there. But Crusher Bro still leading the way. He's 19 seconds in front. This is the end of the race. This is the final lap. Crusher Bro then around turn 7 and 8 for the final time. And Crusher Bro is going to be doing the business here out on track. It has been a purely dominant display from the driver in question. The Norwegian, the leading rookie in the championship, might even be the leader of the championship after tonight. Crusher Bro coming around the final corner. He is going to pick up a win finally. Crusher Bro across the line. It's a dominant performance in Zolder. He wins. Emmanuel Beastler will be coming across the line in second. We'll ride on board with Andy and Steve, who are side by side crossing the line. Oh, very tight on the line. Take a photo to make that one out. Emmanuel Beast then coming around the final corner. Andy dropping down to 9th as a result. Steve, I think, just getting in front of him will confirm that. Emmanuel Beast across the line in second. Good result from him. Ash then is going to be coming around the final corner. He is going to be finishing in third. A really good race from the Ferrari man. Of course, Racing Home and 007's potential contact will be investigated. Any incidents, of course, will be investigated. Ash across the line in third. Racing Home then across the line in fourth. 007, the car battered and bruised after that spin, but he's got the car around and he finishes in fifth. Disappointing, he might lose the championship lead as well. He gains fourth though, because Racing Home's penalties. Zandamar in sixth. John in 7th out on track. Zandamar is coming through towards the final couple of corners now through turn 9 and 10. He's about to approach. He's in 6th. Zandamar, John in 7th. And McKinnon is going to get home as well. He's going to be the final one to complete. Zandamar coming across the line now to finish in 6th. Good race from him. John in 7th. Another good race from him. And McKinnon then going to be the final car to come across the line in 9th position. And sorry, in 11th position. I was focusing on something else there. Dear me. Oh, Crusher Bro then takes the win from Emmanuel Beast in second. Ash in third. 007 Professional in fourth. Racing Home in fifth. John in sixth. Zandamar in seventh. Stephen in eighth. Andy in ninth. And Nissim in 10th. McKinnon for you finishing up there in 11th position. And hopefully I can save the replay. I think I might have. Yeah, I've saved the replay. It is downloading for me there now on the right hand side, which is fantastic. And we will, of course, review any footage that will come about. But thank you very much for watching here for CRC Tier 1. That is it for tonight. Next week, of course, we move on to round 6 of the championship. And for round 6 of the championship here in competitive RC, we go to the Nürburgring, and it's going to be wet. So there we go. It's going to be wet in the Nürburgring, but we'll see you next week for CRC Tiers 2, which will be back live with Alan Cabby taking you through that one. Tier 1 in the meantime, I will be taking you through that one alongside Alan next week again. But until then, of course, more action to still come up on TTTV. The next time you'll see us live is on Tuesday night for TTL F2. I will be taking you through that one alongside Commentators. Also going to be taking you through on Thursday will be Kieran McGinley and will be myself for TTL F1. Kieran McGinley not going to be attending next week, and TTSL will be on Friday night as well, and that is going to be at 7:30. So until Tuesday night for TTL F2, I've been James Head. Thank you very much for watching here in CRC Tier 1, and until next time, goodbye.